Welcome to a late IHP show with your 5D Mystic here. We have some archetypes, or maybe one or two. I'm not 100% sure how many yet. I had a couple in mind, but then I changed my mind. If you tune into our other episodes, you'll know all about the Secure Mystic in Person, the 5D Collective. So we are life partners. We love to love. We love romance. And we love to be empowered masculines and empowered feminines. First of all, in our own whole selves, we own ourselves, we mindfully live, and spiritually, some of us. And with that, I have a relationship. God, Holy Spirit, and Jesus is how it begins. And then from my lovely Christian Catholic upbringing, I got clairs, which are the same as spiritual gifts, but obviously different. Because now I'm in a relationship with the lovely entirety of Akash and universe and universal love energy transmission sessions, for example, with Reiki, even though those in cloaks want to talk shit about, energy because they think they own spirituality land, and we leave it alone. But to not digress too much, just remember spirituality, we have a big melting pot. Science is a big melting pot. Why? Because we have bilateral and vertical integration. So the 5D brain and body, it's called integrated brain and or wanting to be there. So again, earned 0-1-year-old secure attachment for those who get here. And some of us don't lose our 1-year-old and 3-year-old, so we stay here. And that's where the 5D Mystic and the Enlightenment Soul Age group is. It's really fun. And so we don't have a shit show with our oversoul. Nope. We have a lot of immediate downloads. So you know how they talk about Christ consciousness, which is what 5D consciousness is. They talk about it as a sound, which actually makes a lot of sense, which makes me think that I'm gonna remember that I want to do a couple of archetypes. So gnosis, innermost knowing, and this is where the felt experience. Okay, so when you have a felt experience, you know that you know, but in order for this felt experience to actively be a pure consciousness one, you need to first know yourself. Your child parts need to be uncharged. If you have instead trauma and stuff, and trust breaks and stuff that hasn't been, that truth won't be recognized with a soul that knows of its innocence. Okay, so you want to get out of the shame defectiveness, and that's the unkind dysregulation and inner critic, outer critic. Once your mind has that inner growth, your mind has the innocence of your humanity and humanity overall. And with sciences, no Lucifer, no demons. People with dissociative identity disorder, people with personality disorders, people with dissociations, not healing, but you call them people. So that's when you will recognize a felt sense and a truth, because you'll be able to mindfully be aware of your own implicit and explicit biases, your own past stuff and present stuff, your own ego, and not have a spiritual ego or a science ego, but have an ego that is yours, use your name, and a sense of self that is yours. So you don't have a truth that you say, mine is irrefutable. You have what is a differentiated self, and you're able to link. And that is where you respect another, I respect you, and thoughts and emotions are what we share. And so you do not get distorted because you're using ancient textbooks and rigidity in a brain that is non-bilaterally integrated. You also know the soul of the world, anima mundi, is the epitome of that principle. You accept all, reject none. And if you're a 5D mystic, you'll intuitively know that we will have all been all sides of a coin, and that darkness and light have this thing they do, and that darkness is where light comes from, and that knowing that the unknown is what stays is your familiarity with your secondary human consciousness. So for me, Anima Mundi is really fun. We've read that one, multifaceted, multidimensional layer. I don't have questions when I'm channeling, downloading. I don't have unresolved anything that would have led me. In fact, in the entirety of my years, I don't have out-of-body experiences. Even when I have had panic attacks, I have had that lot of things. Astral travel, seeing past lives, future lives, galactic beings, you name it. It's a fun show for the 5D mystics. The empowered feminine and the empowered masculines, of course. And I'm sure at our spirituality retreats, the spiritual gatherings we'll have in the future, you sign up, we get to share stories and we get to come together. So this is the other one, the other archetype that really called to me. While we have the maiden, the motherhood, those are the ways they talk about the feminine. The crone is the last and the wisest of them all. The crone has a difficult time tolerating superficial, petty day-to-day musings. She moves away from such relationships and seeks a deeper path, even if this means a more solitary life. That's not true. The 4D, those women who think I'm going to be all alone. Yeah, so when you hear these things, it's like a teenager who says, how dare you waste my time like that? Now, that's ego. Why? Because while I don't enjoy superficial things, I do enjoy my company, as I've made friendships and I've made loverships, right? So in the case of a lover, obviously this is where if we are that different on an intellectual level, at a certain point I'm going to be breaking up with them. And I'm going to say, look, I have intellectual interests that go way beyond what you and I talk about. But at the same time, for the solo polyamory community, it's a different story because we are securely attached, some of us, and the dynamics are where we have secure bases and sometimes they're only safe havens or secure bases. So this is where our relationship anarchy style is anarchical on purpose because we have one, straightforward conversations with someone. That's exactly what a life partner does. And two, we have empowered people, as I read to you all today and talked about, the 5D collective are securely attached. So we're not going to shy away from being ourselves. So for example, I can tell somebody, hey, look, you and I have a great rapport together, groovy kind of love. I love it. I love hugging you. I love sitting here. But when it comes to intellectually stimulating stuff, we don't share anything. So I have another partner that I get to share stuff with. At the same time, obviously, remember, please, not everybody is as empowered as can be, but still, if they're a true lover, what does true love indicate? Is it let me have what I want, or is it you and I appreciate each other and therefore I have compersion, which means that even if I'm sad, I will be happy for you. You don't have to be polyamorous for this. This is where monogamists and monoamorous, when I learned about till death do part, sickness and in health, is why I didn't say, okay, you cheated on me, I'm breaking up with you. I believe in the relationship. I keep moving forward. And in fact, for me, I knew what was missing. I'm not a jealous person. And culturally, I told you about this. Italians, the Southerners, but even the Northerners, I think it means you love them. And so, yeah, you can explain to them the psycheducation, just like other people when I explain to them the psycheducation of love is only when you have a secure attachment person and say, no, it's not. And I say, yes, because that's when the oxytocin gene hormone is on. If you don't know how to be in your emotional body and mental body with an integrated brain, you don't know love yet because you don't know how to talk to me in my face without being upset and or feisty and or whatever, not take ownership about it. I know how to take ownership about if something your tone. Okay, hold on, let me look. Is it better now? Okay, so true love is where I want you to be happy. Of course, it'll make me sad if I don't actively please you, but I will not be able to change myself, which is also why for somebody who loves, the part about being open in an open relationship isn't something that's a big deal, but that's because I don't have this, what is it called? Personally, I didn't have the primal attachment panic that will happen to some people in polyamory dynamics. And that's because I'm a twin. I share my primary caregiver, but also I have a personality and more. I have personality traits. So when you look at the attachment category that you are, and you look at your secure attached inner world, and then you can look at, this is, thank you, Dr. Daniel Siegel, the PDP I forget, but it's a framework. I have my framework. I completely know why, for me, it's straightforward as it gets to be okay with a person saying, you know what, you don't match, because I'm a direct shooter myself and I don't take offense. Because yes, you can cry. It's not a sensitive ego though to where like, oh my God, I'm destroyed. Okay? And so love to me means you want me to be happy. In fact, even with friends, if I tell you I don't want to hang out with these people because they're ignorant, which I've done, the people who gave me crap about it said, look, I don't want to go out with them. I want to go out with you. So I'll go out with you, but I have nothing to say to these people. And I remember sitting in many groups throughout the years of couples who I found humorous, to say the least, who were all jealous, asking each other for permission. And I'm like, yeah, I'm happy with my twin flame, and then my twin flames, and all my soulmates, and everything that my light. I'm totally happier than I would. I'm like, what the hell? I even said, you ask each other for permission to go to vacation, and you don't go because you're a woman, and he goes because he's a man. Okay, let me get this straight. He checks your email and she answers. Wow. So just wondering, do you, this is, again, I'm completely, I'll tell my men friends, I'll say, look, if you're a woman or whatever, you need to tell me, because I'm completely one of those, I'll hug you, I'll be in your face, I'll be all over this, and I'm not going to change Maria because other people don't know how to be loving with innocence. But you tell me that I need to back off, I'll back off, of course, I'll respect that, but you need to be really straightforward, because otherwise I won't figure it out. Okay, so that's the part of where, again, to me, love means that you have no insecurity, but of course, there are those who instead do. So that's why we try to work with different types of people. But we don't remove people from our life because they're superficial. So when I'm out with friends who have shit going down, usually I'm the most serious of them all, which is why my men friends and sometimes women friends, but I'm thinking of a specific scenario where I'm with my facade friend, with another friend, and there's my girlfriend, and she's completely upset, and I'm trying to help her to process in a healthy way, so not distract herself, to process with the prefrontal cortex. In the meantime, my facade friend begins to be an asshole, meaning a dumb shit. And then when we get away in the car, I'm like, dude, I was trying to have a serious conversation. No, but she wanted to be distracted. I don't think so. And even if so, she needs to work through it. This isn't going to be helpful for her to distract herself. No. So that's the part. Some people, they want distraction. They don't want to heal. And that's the unhealthy self-soothing people in 3D40. But in the meantime, I didn't say I'm never going to go out with them again. No, we went out like the day after together because, again, they're friends. So you know how to enjoy your time. That's what we do. But you also know who is basically a facade, and therefore, I mean, again, 3D40. They completely don't want to move anywhere. They could, but they follow the same people who tell them that they're doing just great. So the crone, the witch, the old woman, the sage. And the crone has seen it all. So yeah, we don't do solo. I have a bunch of friends. I have a bunch of people that I love to hang out with. And that's the ones that I picked, though. Yeah, I mean, the ones that, no, I picked them all. And the ones who don't want me around, that's very straightforward. So, yeah, alone, anyone who gets to be that type of old person, that's sad. They can heal that with good therapy. We're mammals. We're meant to want to share life. And, you know, it makes me really sad when I do hear of those who are all by myself. No, it's really sad because you got this lifetime to live. But like God told me to mind my own business, I will. The 0-1-year-olds all have good therapists. I'm here for the ones who are ready to be their self with flaws and integrity and mindfully. And again, true lovers, we're going to have, I love to love, and my baby, he loves to dance, and he loves to talk to me, and he loves to always be expanding and not casting stones. And he's a crone too, because he's got his own feminine. Ha ha. So the crone has seen it all. Nothing frightens or surprises her. She is the final manifestation in the feminine trifecta of maiden, mother, crone. In her long life, she's witnessed endless cycles of death, sex, failure, rebirth, conflict, and regeneration, giving her the ability to rise above the world of duality. She laughs at notions of good or bad, right or wrong, as she has seen the earth churning, smoldering, taking life, and giving life. The crone energy accepts everything in devouring beauty and suffering with the same mouth, using their energy to reveal hidden secrets and knowledge. Her energy resides in all of us. And I won't read the rest of it because this is exactly where 4D thinks that it's some special gift to basically tap into the depths of your emotional and mental plane, while it's not. It's actually your birthright. So you can choose to explore death and the macabre with not the Zen Master's laundry, but with mindfulness practices in time if you want to. If you don't, that's where the lower frequencies are not good or bad. It's that they live from the threat response of their teenager. So when you have a teenager who is doing this, that's why they will want to be all alone. And that's why they say, I don't go out because, there's all these awful human beings out there. So when you don't develop a relationship, neutrality and duality, you don't learn to use your prefrontal. You're still using your temporal junction, which is why you are still perceiving everything from yesterday's news in a nervous system that doesn't know how to be engaged from your prefrontal. The cycle of emotions lasts 90 seconds. The capacity for you to be able to experience that is only if you're using two sides of the brain, but also that two sides is when your words are needing to be neutral. So the sound is what matters, by the way. In fact, that's where, let me go find another archetype. So it's rich and definitely full of depth and magic, not unapologetically. I know a lot of people use that word. We apologize when people are offended because that's, bullshit. Inside, we have the ventral vagal state. We stand understanding, we have differences. Well, we'll apologize. That's the fair and square thing to do. And we don't hang out with sensitive egos because they're so insecure that we can't have conversations, intellectual or emotional, for any reason because they'll lie. Please appeasers are the worst. They come out of the woodworks eventually because they don't know how to tell you the truth. And that's because before they can be able to stand in who they are, please appease, attach, cry, collapse, submitters, anyone with childhood stuff unhealed wants a therapist, then they'll be able to be their true self. And that's the part of where we'll know who they are. They won't have sensitive egos. So they will know how to face and chit-chat about emotions and that felt sense of self and stuff like that. The felt experience. And I want to find one spot. But it might have not been this one. Let me see. If it was... Nope. There was one of the cards that called to me based on the sound. Could be this one. Innermost knowing, mystic truths, felt experience, having touched the unknown with every one of the senses. Yes, okay, this one. So here's what we want to be aware of with the senses. Knowing is their calling, not knowing is their job description. So this is where into the unknown, there's no siren, there's no mermaid. If you have a relationship with your prefrontal and your secondary human conscious and your primary, you will know the clarity of the inner world of you because you are tapped into it. And no matter what comes up, you're aware of your own implicit and explicit biases. You're aware of your ego, and you don't make your ego be right or wrong. You allow yourself to sit in neutrality and duality and explore. So you don't dismantle something that is true for you. You don't dismantle something that is new. You allow yourself to take in the information, which is why the sage and people, who look at the crone, if you get a bitter woman or a bitter man, that's a person who could have gotten out of being that bitterness. Yet we have that Zen master with laundry. 5D mystics. We love to love. We love romance and we love life partners. They have to be secure, attached people because otherwise they don't know how to love because they're going to be afraid to lose us. And we're not afraid to lose anyone because you're not in my pocket. Also, if you're dragged away that easily by any distorted feminine, here's where an empowered feminine can tell you, I don't find masculines impressive until they're empowered. And that's the minute that they will be able to stand up with their ventral vagal state. And exactly as I just present to you always, nothing true or not true, wrong or right. I mean, really, we play with words as we can be because we know what knowledge is. We know data, quantitative, we know qualitative. Then we know how to continue exploring it. We also know about mystics, and we do not say that they're not real because that's not a truth. They are real. That science has a lot of answers. We know science does. But again, 97% of what is out there is unavailable. And the scientists themselves are on a journey of chasing each other down the hallways and doing things that are ridiculous. So brains and minds and embodied selves that are whole and that are the sages, all of us can be crones, those are the people that get to gather here because of one, wanting to be yourself and hang out with, why not, mindfully living and loving people. And you will be called to it if your ego is called to being an empowered one. And if you're called to be yourself with love and fun and the innocence of our inner child with a functional adult, we have more fun. I love to love, and my baby, he loves to dance, and he loves to love, and he loves to not cast stones, and he loves to learn, and that's exactly what a life partner is all about. So as a teenager, I loved my teenage years, my young adult years. Today, I'm a lot more knowledgeable, and I'm empowered to be exactly where I wanted to be because I didn't change a thing except for become more of the love that Jesus, God, Holy Spirit, my mom, my twin, my family, every single day of my life has brought me, which is why a feminine will know my oversoul. I get to practice patience and perseverance, and it's on two sides of a coin. And my guide has consistently been Jesus as my example and God as my very basic 10 commandments, and those cloaks don't count. I do love every year of my catechism, and it makes me sad when I hear of people and how they have been treated and how they feel about, they're very upset, scared, they're very, but I understand. Again, we leave alone those who are non-bilaterally integrated. They have cognitive dissonance, structural dissociation. There are reasons why 3D, 4D are going to have the opportunity to move out, but they might not. We have people who don't bring their children to hospitals. We have people who go to a museum that teaches them about Adam and Eve and not Darwinism. We have people on podcasts spreading rumors that yoga brings demons out of you because one human being had an experience where she doesn't know about trauma and didn't go to therapy, and she doesn't maybe know about decentralization. Then again, we got people who tell me when I say there's no demon possessing anyone because neuroscientists prove that everyone has something to believe in. So once again, we have flat earthers and those who are mystics who can be put in the flat earther group for a 5D mystic in the Enlightenment Soul Age group who does know of that, which is blind faith, but who also knows that even if I call it dark matter, dark energy, it doesn't disprove my relationship with God. In fact, doesn't disprove my relationship with Holy Spirit. And also Reiki Master here, the fact that they disrespect entire heritages and entire cultures, and that they want to claim to be able to own something that is not ownable. Spirituality, blind faith is about spirituality. It's a feeling. It's a gut. It's a sound. Christ consciousness, when the esoteric lady was describing it, it's a sound, a number of sounds. We already know about the other sounds. And as an empowered feminine, that's exactly why I know vibration. My relationship is a gut nudge, and I already know what it told me. And I don't need to explain it to you, which is why when I'm practicing what I got to practice, I already knew. My gut told me this and then this, and I didn't actively get lost. This is where I'm here for the 5D Mystic Collective, so they can disengage from how 4D does everything. It sounds like they're in high school and college I learned about mythology. That's exactly what I see when I look at them, which is why I use, Cusco and Ursula and the squirrel, because that's what they're doing when they're pretending to play dress up, and they're, in my book, completely not bringing forth that which is a sacred relationship. But I understand because the non-bilaterally integrated brain has a paused self. They don't own their child parts, and they need to feel seen because they don't feel seen. And they're looking to have a reason to be. So there again, I'm going to leave that in the meantime. The part about they don't represent any danger. They're just the imbalanced feminine and the imbalanced masculine. They're the same ones who think that without them, the earth won't be moving forward. That's how ego always works. Makes itself out to be a bigger deal than it is. In the meantime, what is very beautiful are the grounded in reality, smart brains who say, okay, let's get together. I love my successful and smart entrepreneurs, the ones of us who think about things and how to do things, and it's all different topics. So I do personal development, self-help, but that doesn't mean I don't collaborate with those who are and eventually will come and navigate. Who knows? Every platform gives us the opportunity to connect to each other. Meantime, my focus is to support you in your personal development and growth, and then personal relationships with intimacy, and then to leave to the generation as the time moves forward. Secure attachment is love. Anyone who makes it hard to love doesn't own their child parts. And that's not something you have to do immediately, but it's something you want to be aware of. A person who loves will have compersion, monoamory and monogamous, or polyamorous. Don't have to be polygamous. They won't say you're not poly enough. That sounds like the little asshole that was saying, you're too small, we won't be together. And I knew that's not love, but I had fun. I'm flirting, I'm having a good time, I don't care. I wasn't in my feelings. Oh my God, Maria, become taller now. No, I said, this is not what love looks like. Love is where you lift me up higher and higher and higher, and you don't ever bring me down. Now, if I do something that we know we want to dress because I got unapologetically in my space versus being able to stand in integrity, I will in fact say thank you for letting me know. On the other hand, there are times where there's no need to be addressed. This is why it's a case-by-case scenario. And that's because of sometimes people don't talk because they are embarrassed of things. When you have no embarrassment, I'm not embarrassed about my being a mystic. I'm not embarrassed about my panic attacks. I'm not embarrassed about my IBS. I'm not embarrassed about being a human being. So I'll talk about it very nonchalantly, and there are those who don't like to talk about things. Now, this is also cultural, but it's really a lot of people have this, I've noticed. Why would I be ashamed of things that are part of my life? That makes no sense. To my left mode and to my right, because again, there's no shame here. So I got to be okay with being all of that, which is the depths of me, and never say you have to disown how you're feeling, because that's impossible. I have the sixth sense of introception. I have a beautiful relationship with my vessel and my thread and my heart. And why would I ever shut it down because somebody else says that my feelings are stupid, or that whatever I'm going through is something that is inconceivable? Of course it is. You don't know how it is. You don't have them, do you? But also when I met the ones who get angry because I'm explaining to them how I've been able to easily, I guess I should say that. Should I say easily work through my panic attacks? Because I was telling this woman how to work through one. She's just getting pissed at my, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm just giving you some tips. And then I'm explained by Stephen Porges about biological rudeness. So I understood. And today, whenever I get a tone from dicks, they're all dicks, women and men, I just leave it alone. And I'm happy to be able to leave it alone here because I'm like, okay, that's their teenage version. Oh, it's Cusco. So you'll always know when you have a facade. I thank my facade friend, and then the information that helps me to consistently be in my ventral vagal and ignore completely, but at the same time I ignore it, meaning I don't react to it. I'll remember it because I'm meeting their child parts, and I'm meeting something that is their dysregulated reactivity, because that's whatever it is they played out and they're going through a phase. So it's kind of like a kid, they have phases. So when you meet people who will be facades, they're going to do karma, and they're going to settle into that, and then they're going to have a little merry-go-round. And once you learn, that's why you don't cut anybody out of your life. You just understand that that's how they're going to navigate life. And we will be back with more. But in the meantime, FYI, our lovers don't do karma. They do dharma, because we do dharma, because we're securely attached. And we all get there, even those who are not yet. Remember, it's a 2 hands, 2 feet. We walk and we say, thanks, Robert Sapolsky. We do know about determined, but some people are going to, thanks to Dr. Daniel Fox, Dr. Daniel Siegel, Bezo Brendel, Stephen Porges, Peter Levine, Janita Fisher, and the entire equipe and more, get their 0-3-year-old online with unconditional love and securely attached. And then we're going to have I love to love and my baby. They're not a lower self. They're not a fight response. They're a higher self. There you go. So we're going to get to meet more integrated brains and restorative embodiment self people here at IHP and out in the world. Again, all voices matter, even the 3D 4D ones, because while we do think of the 7 to 14 charming as, they definitely are in that evil scale. Well, Again, you got fancy woman and man in suit. Millions follow them. Millions follow other men who tell women, all by myself is how you're going to get coherent. So they have to be all by themselves, live by themselves, no friends whatsoever. You got the other mystics who say, you lose people when you go and get the Kundalini. But no, you don't. I gained people. I got gifts. I got gifts I'll never forget. As I looked to the back and I said, wow, I left myself a petal of roses. Like, now that I'm looking at it, it's all beautiful. It's a rainbow. Look at my rainbow. It's a beautiful rainbow. I have the most amazing of rainbows. And that is exactly, I'm grateful for every one of you who stuck around. Have a wonderful holiday and a Merry Christmas. If you celebrate, if you don't, I do. And I really appreciate every Christmas, even as I get older. And I had a beautiful tradition growing up as a child. In Naples, Italy, at least I know there, the children get to wait till midnight so that we could put baby Jesus in the little manger thingy. And this is what makes me sad about knowing that as a mystic, some people don't see me in that light, you know. And not mad, just sad, because I still to this day will always have my love for my upbringing. But the ones of true faith, they actually know that I need to remember. So I've talked to people that I know are of faith, and they are okay and understand when I explain to them. And they too have opinions and are sad about the way that the cloak people do things. So, in the meantime, let's share that not all Christian Catholics are actually ignorant, and that we do understand that those in cloaks are not actively aware that they are disrespecting yoga and mindfulness and Buddhism and a bunch of heritages and just spirituality and people of faith, because they don't own the Holy Spirit and they don't own Jesus. And I know the ones who want to tell us about all the irregular facts or whatever they're doing. I got it. They could, I've met those people too. But like I was saying, it was a really fun tradition, and I don't have it anymore, but I still every Christmas enjoy both the 24th and the 25th. So have a happy holiday. In case I'm not back, you never know, I might have some surprises. And thank you for being here. I'm very grateful, and I look forward to being back at least a couple times before the new year. So we'll be back again at some point. In the meantime, have a good evening.